All right, guys. Wait on a few people to pop in so we can start Thoughts by Coach Jay on this Good Friday morning, almost midday. Topic of the day will be off-season workouts and parental involvement in a program. Viking pride, baby, you know it. Hold on, guys. I need to step away for a second. It would be a Burns rebel to say boo the Vikings. Sorry about that, guys. I'm here on my planning period, trying to get life together here. All right. What's up, Corey? Good to see you, man. Thanks, Mama Moxley. I mean, Miss Ryan. I'm sorry, that's not Mama Moxley. That's Miss Ryan, my third grade teacher. Thank you. All right, let's get started. I want to discuss the importance of all-season workouts, no matter what sport you're in, but I'm going to specifically cater this to basketball because that was my sport and that's where I made my living. Yes, I'm representing my Vikings today. I am a state champion in 2002. I am also an NCAA tournament participant in 2003. I'm also an NIT participant in 2005. Played overseas and a few other things, but neither here nor there. That's not points of this. So the first thing, off-season workouts. One of the things I break down every basketball season into 4 parts. You have postseason, you have in-season. Let me back up. You have preseason, you have in-season, then you have postseason, and then you have off-season. Thanks, Vic. Appreciate the support, big man. He's doing good things, too, with Bruh Mentor. If you don't know him, connect with him. What's up, Coach Funderburg? Most seasons start out for basketball. You have a preseason, which usually runs from about 6 to 8 weeks before your season starts. And then you have your regular season. That's your non-conference games. And some people like to call it a non-conference season. And then you like to go into your conference season, which is where your region games are played and where you're competing for your region championship to get to postseason play. Tell Coach Jenkins I said, hey, and tell her congratulations on retirement too. And then you get into postseason, which is your playoffs where you compete for your state championship. And now you get into off season, which is where we're headed, because here in South Carolina, we have state championship weekend this weekend, starting tonight with 2A and 5A girls and boys, and then you got 1A, 3A, and 4A tomorrow. Then it goes into off season. You get a couple weeks off, and then you start off season workouts. You'll get there, Coach Vandenberg. You're almost there. You ain't old, but you're almost there. You've been around for a while. So my first point, after I get through my 4 points, I'll take questions. My first point is conditioning. Conditioning is one thing that it should be done in the preseason, and it should be done all during the season. And definitely in the off season, if you're not in great shape, you can't be a first class athlete. That is one of the first things that you'll notice about NBA guys and even your better college guys. But we'll talk about the NBA guys. They're in great shape. LeBron James at 35 years old, 17 years in the league, is in great shape. He very rarely in 17 years has been hurt. Last year was, I think, his first major injury. And it was his groin, and that really wasn't major, but it was major enough because he's been in the league at that point 16 years. Even if you look at Kobe Bryant, you can go back to Michael Jordan and all those guys, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, Alonzo Mourning, Karl Malone, John Stockton, just to name a few from the old school. Shaq, when he was young Shaq, because older Shaq got fat and lazy, but I'm still a Shaq fan. But you have to be in great shape. You can't compete at a high level if you aren't in great shape. Your conditioning has to be there, because if you run up and down the court or up and down the field once or twice and you're tired at that point, you're not going to be effective. I know when you come back from injuries, you have to work your conditioning, which I'll talk about injuries here in a little bit. You have to be able to work your conditioning. If you can't compete, you can't compete if you aren't well conditioned. That's just the way I get it. What's up, D-Rob? Western Kentucky in the house. My second point in off season, these next two kind of go together. Skill development. Again, it's a lost art during the season, but definitely during the offseason, skill development is one of the most important things that you can do. This is where you need it. What's up, good? This is where you need to either find you a trainer or get in the gym with your coach and go to work on your weaknesses. If you can't dribble that great with your left hand, then you need to be in the gym working on your left hand. If you can't shoot going left off of one dribble pull-ups, you need to work one dribble pull-ups, two dribble pull-ups. Do cone work, ball handling skills, so that you can just shoot off the dribble and you're working on your ball handling. But in turn, do not do these things slow. There's no point in you doing skill development at a slow pace if you're going to do it. What's up, Jeremy? There's no point in doing skill development at a slow pace because you don't play at a slow pace in a game. I don't care if you do play slow down basketball. Hey, Jewel, I don't care if you play slow down basketball as a team and that's the kind of system you play in. The game is still up tempo and still fast paced, and you're not going to blow by anybody walking at a walking pace. It's just not going to happen. Not against a good high quality athlete. So when you're in your skill development, treat it as if a game. My college coach used to always say, especially Coach Felton, he used to preach it, go game speed, go game speed. Because when you get into the game now, it now becomes easy because you've worked out at game speed, at game speed, at game speed all the time. And it doesn't change when you get to a game, but some people have that motor where they can go slow. But then others have that motor where they can't go slow in practice and then it can't translate over to the game because then it translates over and they're going slow. For me, I really didn't like practice, but I would practice hard. In individual workouts, I took those personal because that was my time, where even though it was 3 other guys in the gym in college, there's 4 people in your individual workout. In that time, skill development, that was my time to get better, to push myself, to make myself better. When I first got to college at Western Kentucky, I didn't understand why I was in the gym doing 2-ball dribbling, because I'm not going to dribble in the game with 2 balls. I didn't understand while I was going through all this cone work and so on down the line. Until one day we got to practice and I made one of the moves that we worked on in skill development. I was like, okay. And then it became an everyday thing in practice. And then it translated over to the game. So I couldn't wait to get to individual workouts because that was my 45 minutes twice a week. That was my time with the coaches scheduled to do what I wanted to do and get better on my game. And they were catering to me. You have to understand now, when coaches are doing these skill developments, these individual workouts is what they call them, but it's really skill development. When they're doing these things, you have to get in there and take these things seriously. If you're in high school and you want to be a college athlete, you have to take the development seriously. If you don't take the development seriously, you can be a great athlete, you can be a great high school player, but when you get to college, everybody can play. Everybody is an athlete. That was one of the first things my roommate told me. He said, we all were high school All-Americans and all region players and all state players. He said, this is my 4th year. I put in my work. You're at the bottom of the totem pole now. You got to put in work. And I took that to heart because my first game against the Harlem Globetrotters in 2002 as a Western Kentucky Hilltopper, I played 53 seconds. 53 seconds. I didn't even clock a minute. That means when you looked in the stat sheet, it had 0, the 2 little dots, and a 5-3. I was embarrassed. I was mad. I called home. I was like, Daddy, I'm ready to go because this is not, what's up, cuz? This is not the place for me. He told me I was going to get to play, and so on down the line. I cried like a baby. The second preseason game, I didn't even get to play. Now, in practice, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, supposedly, but I didn't get to play. The third pre-exhibition game, no, it's 2 exhibition games. I'm sorry. The second exhibition game, I did get to play. I got to played pretty well. thought I did something special. And we go to Arizona. They're number one team in the country. And then Josh Davis, what's up, man? I think Josh was a manager on that team. Thanks for watching. We go to Arizona. They got Luke Walton, Jason Gardner, Channing Frye, Andre Iguodala, Hassan Adams. All these guys are top NBA guys. And I'm like, yeah, they just like me. We good. I think I'm getting ready to get in the game to play. I was in the game for 14 seconds, got elbowed in the eye, walked around looked like Mike Tyson had punched me because I had a swollen eye. Josh can tell you, I didn't play much. My first 6 weeks, I was a scrub in college because I was going from being a post player primarily to a primary wing player. I could play on the wing. I had played on the wing, but I never put in the work on the wing. So my preseason was spent putting in the work to be a wing player over and over and over. And Josh will tell you, I worked hard at it. I was frustrated. He was actually one of my favorite managers, and we used to talk all the time. He was one of my venting partners. But it became important. Now, then I understood why it was so important. So therefore, as practice went on, our four-man got hurt in that game. Yes, hey, Danielle, I got to play some four, but every day I practiced at the three. And I practiced at the three. I practiced at the three every day. And one day I finally got mad at Coach Felton and said, Coach, why am I practicing at the three every single day and you're never going to put me in the game at the three? I was just frustrated. He was like, just keep working. Just keep plugging away. He said, I'm not preparing you for that. He never, they don't, Josh. That's why I'm talking about it. He never let me come off the floor and practice. Josh can attest to this. I was the only player at that point, about midway through the season, about January, I was the only player that could never take a break in practice. I was either playing the three or the four in practice. Hey, cousin Mika, I was playing the three or the four in practice. I never came out the court. Then finally, in our conference tournament, we were in the first round. Both of our starting wings, one of our starting wings and our backup wing got in foul trouble. And so it was play a freshman wing who wasn't playing or play the freshman who had game experience at the four. So guess who finally got to go in at the three? Me. Why was that important? Hey, Coach Nelson. Great coach there. What's up, Randall? I think I skipped one person. Hey, Karen. That's a classmate of mine. So I finally, sorry guys about that. So I finally got to play at the wing, but it was before practice. I'm drilling 1 dribble pull-ups, 2 dribble pull-ups, guarding the wings every day in practice, staying after practice, getting to practice early. I didn't understand it until it finally happened. And then that leads me again back to off-season. So your skill development, which is what I've been talking about, that's point number 2. Point number 1 was conditioning, and point number 2 now is skill development and off-season workouts. It is a very important aspect. I talked about yesterday with your off-season workouts and your skill development. As a coach, you want to cater your skill development to your system. Yes, you develop the individual player for the game when they go to the next level or they go into another system, but at the same time, you have to develop them for your system. It's not about wins and losses, but you want to make you want to make the player look good within your system. Wins and losses are great, but at the end of the day, you got to win in the game of life when it comes to coaching. That's a topic for another day. Point number 3. This is my third point. Weight training. Guys, I always lifted weights. I never understood why I lifted weights, but when I started talking when I was in the NBA Developmental League, which is now known as the G League, I started talking to guys who played in the NBA. My assistant coach was Chucky Brown, played 16 years in the NBA. I got to have a conversation with Kobe and Lamar Odom and Pau Gasol and Derek Fisher and those guys, and they told me how important it was to be in the weight room. Like, weight room, Chucky Brown said it out of his mouth. He said, weight room is what kept me from getting injured. He never had any major injuries. He played for 16 years in the NBA, and he didn't have any problems. Look at LeBron James. He never had really any major injuries. Never tore an ACL, never rolled an ankle, and I pray I ain't jinxing him. Kobe had those 2 major injuries late in his career, but at that point in time, he had been in the league 18 years, and since he was 18, his body probably was a little burnt. But the workouts, weight development, skill, weight training, it helps your body develop and it improves your game, because at the next level, if you're going from high school to college to the pros, it may not be the NBA, it may be overseas. But it's still pros, and they're still grown men, and you're still have to be strong enough. When you're 18 years old, you better hit the weight room when you're coming into college, because you're playing against 22 and 23-year-old grown men who've been in the weight room for 4 years, and they don't care nothing about you. Okay. That was third. So fourth one is rehab and physical therapy. Rehab and physical therapy. This is in your off season. This is a good time to take care of your body. If you know you've had little nicks and bruises, especially like little knee sprains or knee twists where you may have been out for a game or two or just out of practice for a little bit, now is the time to rehab. Get in the cold tub. Take cold ice baths all year long. I'm telling you, ice baths do wonders with your body. Take your ice baths. Go to physical therapy if you have to. Strengthen up your knees. Hey, Miss Jackie, strengthen up your knees. Strengthen up your body. Take care of yourself in the off season. Taking care of yourself is also rehabbing. Take care of yourself, rehabbing, but you also, I'll be sure to do that, Josh. You have to take care of your body, not just by physically, but you have to take care of your body by what you put in your body. You got to eat correctly. You can't eat McDonald's every day and be a superstar athlete. You're going to be just like the movie Super Size Me, and you'll be fat. That's just as blunt and straightforward as I can put it. You'll be fat. So you need to take care of your body. I'm not saying eat fruits and vegetables every day and eat these little meals that are about this big and you're still hungry. But what I am saying is don't go to McDonald's every day and get a double Whopper, not Whopper, that's Burger King. Get a double quarter pounder combo, supersize, and add an extra burger to go with it every single day. Or eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at McDonald's. Don't do that. You can't be an athlete at that. When I was at Western Kentucky, Josh can attest to this. I got there at 255. By the time the season started, a week before the season started, I was 215. Coach Felton took away everything. I couldn't eat McDonald's. I couldn't eat fast food. I couldn't let alone eat sausage. I barely could eat hamburgers. And it was somebody there monitoring what I ate every single day. We were watching a fight, and Coach got us some food from, it's a place in Bowling Green. I can't think of the name of it. But they brought chicken tenders, and he ordered pizza. I came over there. I'm like, I'm getting ready to eat with the team. Nope. Coach was like, you're not eating that. My teammates felt so bad for me. They snuck me a piece of pizza and 2 chicken tenders in another room and had like 3 people watching each door so I could stuff it down real quick and get something to drink so I wouldn't be hungry. This is real. So again, off-season workouts. Make sure you're conditioning. That's sprinting. A great drill you can do for basketball is get on a treadmill, put it at about 12 miles an hour, sprint for 25, 30 seconds, get off and rest for 25, 30 seconds. Sprint for 25, 30 seconds, rest. The longer you can sprint, the shorter your recovery time is. You have to start somewhere. You may have to start at sprinting for 5 seconds and then recover for 5 seconds. And then you may have to go to 10, then to 15, then to 20, then to 25, and then 30, and so on down the line. So conditioning, skill development, it's important because you have to grow. You have to grow. This has to take place in the offseason, because if you're not getting better in the offseason, yes, you can be playing AAU, but if you're not getting better in the offseason, then what good are you doing yourself, your teammates, and your coaches? B3, weight training. Make sure you're in the weight room. Make sure you are in the weight room doing the things that you need to do to be successful and get stronger to improve your game. And lastly, under off-season workouts, make sure you're doing physical therapy and you're rehabbing any nicks and bruises, because the course of the season, you're going to take some nicks and bruises. And if you're fortunate enough to get through a whole season with no injuries and no problems, kudos to you. Still take care of your body. Right now, for about any questions about off-season workouts, anything you want me to address about off-season workouts, shoot me something. I do appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching. I know this is catered to basketball a little bit and sports in general, and everybody's not a basketball person, but I thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Robert Hutchinson. I'm just trying to give out what's been given to me. I've had a great mentor. I had a great high school coach, great college coach, and a couple great pro coaches. And my mentor who helps me with coaching, he's actually watching this feed, but he's been great. And one of the things he told me was make sure I give out what he's given to me, just pass it on. So I'm trying to pass it on to everybody, and I have started mentoring a couple coaches as well. What's up, Brother Gis? Brother Gis, we still got to get together. I ain't forgot. Thank you, sir. Any questions about off-season workouts? If you think of it while I go into this next topic, I will address them. Just post them up there as they come along. Next thing I talk about is parental involvement in a program. One question I would ask, and it's always posed, is how much is too much for a parent to be involved in a program? And I'm not talking about the stuff that you want them to do. I'm talking about when it comes to the involvement of their kid. How much is too much? Do you address playing time with your parents? Do you let your parents dictate how much you're gonna play your kid? Are you gonna be influenced by who they are? What's up, Griggs? Are you gonna be influenced by who they are, etc.? It's a lot that goes into parental involvement. So I've taken about 4 little points that I want to put with it, and I'm trying to get out your way. What's up, Coach Chris? I'm gonna try to get out your way here in the next. Give me about 7 minutes. I should be done. 7 minutes. If top 10 minutes tops. But I am grateful for everybody tuning in. Parents should be Booster Club members. Okay? There's nothing wrong with your parents being Booster Club members, and because your parents are going to be the ones to keep you up to date of what's going on. Booster Club members. That's point number 1. Should a parent be a Booster Club member? Absolutely. They're involved. That's one way to be involved in a program in a positive light. A positive light. But being a Booster Club member could also be negative if that parent doesn't like you. But if the parent is neutral and they just want to be involved and they mean well, being a Booster Club member is great because then they can help you keep up with how much money's in your account, what needs to be, right, it does create loyalty, what needs to be spent, what can't be spent. They can help you with the needs of your program because they're in the Booster Club meeting that you probably can't be at because you're having, as a varsity head coach, you're either, if you're at a big enough school, you're attending 9th grade games on the boys' side, JV games, middle school games, because you're trying to keep your face in the community. Booster Club can tell you, the parent can tell you what the community needs, what the community wants to see. So this Booster Club thing is a great way for a parent to be involved in a positive way. So parents, if you're watching, you're listening, if you watch this video later, be a Booster Club member. If you want to know where your money is going or what a Booster Club actually does for a program, get involved. Booster Clubs are good. It's great to have Booster Clubs. And if your school doesn't have a Booster Club, then be the parent or be the coach that helps get it started. I'm telling you, I've seen some Booster Clubs that are great, and I've seen some Booster Clubs that do not have the best interest in mind for any of their programs or maybe just 1 or 2 programs, point blank and period. Booster Clubs are great. Team meals, point number 2. Booster Club member was number 1, team meals is number 2. Parents are great for this. Lean on your parents because parents want to know what they can do to help. I'm coaching 8th grade, 8-year-old, sorry, not 8th grade. I'm coaching 8-year-old boys. My twins are 7-year-old. I'm coaching 8 and under boys. Their parents are raving at, what can we do to make the team better, coach? What can we do? How can we help? Can I bring snacks and Gatorades? Parents just want to feel like they're needed and they want to be involved. I'm a parent of an athlete. What can I do for you? What do you need me to do? But I also am a coach, so I know not to overstep certain boundaries because I am a coach. So yes, team meals. Lean on them. Hey, do you have any idea? You can, when you have your parent meeting, which every program should have a parent meeting at the beginning of the season. What's up, Coach Reese? Glad you're tuning in again. Every parent should have a team, every coach should have a team meeting at the beginning of the year. And these are things you can talk about. You talk about the Booster Club. Then you talk about team meals. Hey, can you help feed our guys or our girls on our road games? It can be simple as Chick-fil-A, or it can be a whole meal. And then you reach out to the churches because the parents, if they're not going to do it, they're going to reach out to the local community, which is your churches, and they're going to feed you. And they're going to feed you good. I'm telling you, the last school I was at, when I say our churches in our community fed us good, they fed us good. I'm talking macaroni and cheese, steak dinners, spaghetti dinners, garlic bread, salad, sweet tea, unsweet tea, lemonade. They're going to feed you good because they want to see their team and their boys and girls do good. And 9 times out of 10, a parent is a member of that church and they're going to feed you. So if your parents want to be involved, I'm telling you, yeah, George, that's why I got a little fat now. But I'm telling you, that is a simple way to get your parents involved. Okay? Get your parents involved by being in the booster club and being in team meals. Point number 3, and this is, you put a star and asterisk by these next 2 points, but this one is definitely a star that I'm telling you that I know, Miss Jackie, I watch you when you post. I understand when you do that. Miss Jackie does the booster club for North High down in the lower state in Neeses, South Carolina. Yes, Neeses, South Carolina. Somewhere in between Norway and Denmark, somewhere down there. It's in the country, but it's a great school. Playing time. Playing time is not something I'm going to discuss with a parent. I'm not going to do it. Because if your parents don't understand that, because everybody wants their child to play. I don't care who you are. If you're a parent, you're like, my baby should be playing, because I've done it too. My baby should be playing. But at the same time, I also had to take that parent hat off and put my coach's hat on and say, well, what is my child not doing in practice to where they aren't getting to play? Because for me, and I think I got at least 3 or 4 coaches on here, and I think they can give me a thumbs up. Your playing time is earned in practice. I don't care who you are. You can be 30 points a game. You can be 0.3 points a game. Your playing time is earned in practice by what you do. I told a parent one time before, I said, hey, I have no problem with your child. I said, your child comes home and tells you one story. I said, but me and my assistant coach, we see this every day. They're lazy. Hey, cousin. They don't work hard. They're not doing the things that we're asking them to do in practice, but then when it comes game time, you want to play. How does that equate? That don't equate. You can't do the drills and work hard in practice for an hour and a half, 2 hours, hour and a half in the middle of the season, probably an hour and 15. You can't work hard for an hour and 15 minutes, but you want me to put you in the game? I'm supposed to trust to put you in the game? So I tell my parents this all the time. So come to practice and sit where they can't see you. Because if they can see you, they're going to work harder because they're trying to prove their point. But if they can't see you, then you'll see what I see every day. Playing time is not discussed. And so I have another rule, 48 hours after the game before I discuss playing time. So check this out and how that works. On Tuesday, if we play a game and you want to discuss playing time, well, you can't talk to me until Thursday about playing time. Well, on Thursday, I'm going to be busy game planning and trying to get everything ready for Friday's game, so I'm not going to have time to talk to you on Thursday. We can have a quick conversation, but I'm probably going to be focused on the game, so I'm not really going to discuss playing time, and I'll hear you out. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm still going to play the people that play hard who earn playing time. Then here comes Friday. What's up, Stephen Jordan, another manager on that Western Kentucky team. Then comes Friday. You want to talk to me about playing time on Friday? Well, you have to wait at least until Monday because I'm not going to discuss anything on Saturday or Sunday because hopefully on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to leave basketball alone at least until Sunday so that I can enjoy Saturday with my family. And I'm probably not going to think about basketball at the school that I'm coaching on Saturday. So there's a little 48 rule cycle, and a lot of ADs want you to put that rule in. A lot of ADs want you to have a rule, and if it becomes talking about playing time, that becomes the one that they want to sit in on so that things can't get misconstrued because words can get misconstrued. Last point under parental involvement is the discipline of the child. Every program has to have discipline because if your program is undisciplined, then you'll win some games, but you're not going to win a lot of games. Your program will be in shambles. You won't have control of them, and your players will no longer respect you. So the discipline of a child. For me, I have rules. I have you sign a rule sheet along with the parents at the beginning of the year. In that parent meeting, I print the rules out. I go over the rules so that they understand. And I pull the Coach Carter. If you understand this and you agree with this, please sign this at the bottom. There's a spot for the parent and there's a spot for the child. If you sign this, you're agreeing to my rules. First time you get ISS, you're going to run 3 440s. It's just that simple. 440s was something I ran in high school. I did not like them. I learned that the hard way. My 9th grade year, I told Coach Lau a lie, and boy, listen, it took me 5 days to finish 1 440. Then I go to 6 on your second offense. Your third offense, I'm going to have to sit you for a game because that's going to hurt you more than running. Running, because if you're in shape with my team, running ain't going to be the issue. But now if I sit you for a game, now that's where you become frustrated and it gets to you a little bit and it sends a message across. So that's just one rule that I have. Fighting in school, usually for my team, it's an automatic dismissal. I don't know how other people handle theirs. Coaches, chime in, please. I don't know how other people handle their discipline, but if you fight in school and you get suspended, and nowadays they're suspending you for 10 days, I don't have room for you. You can come back out and try out next year, but the rest of this year, you're done. Because I can't go back and reteach 2 weeks of stuff to you, and we've moved on and played 4, 5, 6 more games, because nowadays high schools are playing 2, 3 games a week, sometimes 4 if you count Saturdays. So the discipline of a child, how much is too much? Now, I'm not saying go out here and be cruel to kids, because that ain't the case either. And before you can really discipline a child to a certain level, you got to gain their respect, and they got to respect you and they got to like you. Boys are going to do it because boys just want to play. Girls, on the other hand, girls will take it to offense. They'll get offended and feel like you don't like them anymore. So you have to be careful in your approach. So how much say are you going to let your parent have in the discipline of their child in your program? For me, none. Anybody else? None. Coach Reese, you've been around for a while. How much say so did you let parents have when it came to playing time and discipline of the child? Coach B, Coach Burgess. So those are my 4 points. So I talked about off-season workouts, conditioning, skill development, weight training, rehab, and physical therapy. Then I talked about parental involvement, booster club members, team meals, playing time, discipline of a child. Those are just a few points that you can talk about. But again, don't get me wrong. Parental involvement is good, because if you have no parental involvement when you go on a road game, ain't no parents there. Because, a lot of times parents make up the fans, especially over Christmas break. Your parents are your fans. So be kind to your parents. You don't have to be rude about it, but just let them understand that, hey, this is my program. This is how it's ran. These are the things I need. I personally think every male program, when it's game day, especially if they travel, they should be in a shirt and tie. It's just me. I think girls should dress up on game day, on an away game. At home, you can wear a team-issued sweatsuit because we're at home. But when you walk in the gym on a road game, I want you to look professional. When I was at Western Kentucky, home games, away games, airplane rides, it didn't matter. Bus ride, we were in suit and tie. And we didn't have any hair below the face, below the mustache. Suit and tie. Even our arena was right across the street from our dorms. Not really right across the street, but it wasn't very far. It was about a 5-minute walk. When we showed up to the arena, we had to be in suit and tie. That means jacket, pants, hard bottoms, dress shirt, and tie. But I think I've rambled long enough. I think that was my 10 minutes. I will open it up for about another minute of questions. Anybody got any questions? Anything you feel like I need to discuss that I didn't discuss? I'm just trying to hope that Thoughts by Coach Jay will give you some insight on your program and things that you can do to help make your program either successful or turn your program around. For all those who've tuned in, I really appreciate it. This is just a little bit of things that I talk about, and this has been Thoughts by Coach Jay. Any questions, feedback, concerns? I appreciate everybody tuning in.